Hi, and welcome back to the digital job site for the second of three parts in doing a workup for a tile layout. In the first part we talked about creating these floor plan drawings or shapes, and then also created a 13-inch square floor tile component. So before we move into the actual layout work with this tile, I wanted to do a couple of things to these drawings that will help as we do the layout process. I think it'll become apparent why as we move along. The first is to look at the actual square footage of these floor plan areas. So I've double clicked into this group edit mode with this main floor plan area, and when I click the area or the text tool, I come up with a dialog box, and in that it gives us how many square feet this is. Just like that, with all the complex curves and various shapes, it tells me that that's just a little under 178 square feet, which is a pretty handy thing to do and a simple way to come up with that calculation. And I'll do the same thing here, and it's going to be stubborn here, I can tell. So there is our square foot area. And it's just continuing to fight here. All we want is the square footage area. There it is. Now it's behaving. I'm going to move this text box off to the side here a little bit. And then another little detail, because we're doing some selecting things later on. I'm just going to throw in a couple arbitrary straight lines on these drawings, and if I remember, I'll explain why I did that later. Anyways, we'll use those square foot calculations a little bit later. For now, we're going to take this component we created in the first step, and we want to move it, and we want to create a copy as we move it. So I've hit the control key, and I move this over 1 foot 1 1/8 or 13 1/8 inches, which is the amount the tile will move considering the grout joint. And then we want to duplicate that a number of times. I just hit 25x there. That's a few too many, looks like, so we'll just delete a few tiles off the end here for now. We can take this whole group that we created quickly there, and then we're going to duplicate it going the other direction to get enough of these guys to cover the entire floor. I'm just watching the value in the control box there. It's being stubborn, so I'm just going to type in 13 space 1/8 to get it to move 13 1/8. I hit enter, and then let's say 15 times. See if that's enough to cover our floor. And it looks like it did the job. So we've quickly created enough tiles to cover that up, and we're just going to grab enough of them, because we went to the trouble of copying, moving, and repeating those. We'll just grab a selection of those, hit control, and make enough to cover this bathroom floor area then a bit. And I'm going to make this a group just so it's easier to manipulate a little bit later. Okay, now this process is going to be selecting the tile that we don't need to cover our floor area. So I'm just clicking and dragging, selecting tiles, and getting ones out of here that don't we're not going to need. And I neglected a step here, and that is to align this whole batch of tile with a corner in this wall. I just want to see what happens if we lay out this tile with a full tile starting in the corner by the front door, which is where that is. So having located the tile about where we want it, I'm going to have to duplicate another row here. Move these over. 13 space 1/8. That gives us another row on that side. Okay, So the process then is to just select and delete tiles that aren't needed to cover the floor area. And rather than bother you with the tedium, I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll do all this. I'll clean up these extra tile areas, and then we'll move on to counting the tiles and a few other layout issues in the third part of this video series.